Oh man, we actually have our first gameplay screenshots of what Stalker 2 would look like in Unreal Engine 5, along with a lot of new and exciting details, and this is all looking like some next-gen Metro level stuff. Not to degrade the Metro game or Stalker 2, but man, Stalker might be one of the most beautiful things I've seen yet, if all these screenshots are real. And it's also a game that's coming soon, so these screenshots and new important details are definitely something you have to know, because it completely changes the game. There's a lot to get into, so let's get into it right away. All of these screenshots and details comes from the PC Gamer magazine, who had an exclusive interview. They were also given a lot of information, as well as exclusive content, so let's go. One of the most major new details from Stalker 2 is that survival will become essential in the gameplay of Stalker 2 Heart of Chernobyl, which is mostly new since you didn't have to worry as much for that in the past games, or at all. The first part of survival is hunger. The character in Stalker 2 will need to eat well and find good meals, otherwise hunger will simply reduce your abilities. For example, it will make it difficult to use one of the abilities because of a rapid loss of stamina. Your stomach may even start to rumble loudly if you haven't eaten in a while, and other people in the world might actually notice it and tell you about it. But with a full belly, you can move faster and faster to cover long distances in shorter amount of times. Sleep will also play a large role in maintaining your health and efficiency in the zone. If a stalker spends more than a day without sleep, he will begin to feel the consequences of this fatigue, and the longer he continues to work without rest, the more serious these consequences will become. The stalker's eyesight will also deteriorate, he will lose stamina and may even begin to experience auditory hallucinations. There are already a lot of eerie, disturbing and terrifying sounds in the zone. You definitely don't want to add them without getting enough time to sleep. For me, this is really good news, as it just adds to the realistic survival elements aspect and makes me think of Kingdom Come Deliverance, for example, where it had pretty much the same survival element, and I loved it because it was well executed. But the developers also confirmed there are short-term solutions to deal with the negative effects of hunger or the lack of sleep. For example, the negative effects of sleep deprivation can be temporarily reversed with an energy drink. But if you don't meet the needs of your character, the sum of all these needs makes the gameplay much more difficult. In other words, you can put off things like rest and food for a while, and given that the zone is not a great place to take a nap, you may have to anyway. But in the end, the dream will overtake you, so you'll just have to find a good place to sleep, which could be hard in the world. It has been confirmed about 30 quest designers are working on the plot of Stalker 2, which is absolutely massive for a game like this. The whole game has been confirmed to take at least 100 hours, and I'm so happy to hear that. If the side quests and activities are well made, which these developers are known for creating creative side quests, well, these 100 hours could pass in an instant for me. The developers are very proud of the plot and non-linearity of their game and consider this one of the main features of the project. You can go on and do the story, or you can do all the side quests and all of these activities in the world. They also talked about the brand new faction in the game, which is the Ward faction, which some consider the cops of the zone or the corrupt authority of the world. They don't have any official pin or statement that makes them cops, but they are considered that way by others in the world. The leader of Warta is Colonel Alexander Korshunov, an experienced soldier who personally recruited faction members from groups of highly qualified mercenaries and turned them into a real army. He's a disciplined leader, he does not tolerate disloyalty from his soldiers, and it is a bad idea to cross his path. The Warta though wants to control all of the dangers of the zone so that they can serve humanity with the help of scientific knowledge received from them. As a result, Warta's goal is to protect important discoveries taking place at the Scientific Institute for the study of the Chernobyl anomalous zone. They look unkindly at the bandits, and the feeling is mutual. According to the developers, the choice in favor of Colonel Korshunov and Warta, or the leader and members of any of the other factions of Stalker 2, will be an important and difficult choice for the players, because choices really matters in this game. Here's what they had to say. Even within the same faction, you can find several characters with conflicting ideologies, they said. Every choice made changes the whole world and story, like it always did in past Stalker games, but this time it is created in an ambitious level never seen before. If you didn't know already, Stalker 2 will feature mutant deers, and they're a force not to be reckoned with and extremely dangerous. Mutant deers in the second Stalker are not something worth sneezing at. You will do everything to avoid meeting them. First, the deer looks very strong with glowing eyes positioned under some extremely massive and dangerous horns, and if you've been considering taking your gun and going on a hunting day with this animal, you can probably forget about it because almost all of its skin and meat fell out and there's only mutated parts left. The deer is very sneaky and its armored body means you can kill it with a simple shot. You'll need to find a weak spot somewhere on its body if you want to kill it, and it won't just stand there just looking at you or eating. The deer can attack if it sees you properly, both from the back and the front, and also with that huge head of horns. The mutated deer can be dangerous both with physical attacks and even psychic attacks, thanks to the help of the zone and its side effects of the radiation. It can summon other mutants nearby for help, which means targeting one deer can result in a swarm of other nasty creatures coming at you. For example, flocks of irradiated dogs. The deer can also create illusory copies of itself. Now you're not only fighting a massive team of mutant helpers, but also trying to figure out which of the several deer you are looking at is real, and which are just illusions. This is some of the reasons why you want to avoid a deer in Stalker 2. There's a lot of simulation happening in Stalker games. Members of the various human factions wander the zone, same as you, and there are all sorts of mutants and creatures out there creeping around too. Things are always happening in the world even when you're not there. These different entities clash and interact even when you're not around to see it. In the previous games, a system called A-Life simulated the world and its inhabitants, and now A-Life 2.0 will do that in Stalker 2. In the game, bounty hunters delve deep into the zone, driven by its treasures and mysteries. Some of them are running from their past, others are blinded by money, and some are obsessed with finding the truth behind all the mysteries. Your choices will influence both short-term consequences and global outcomes. Stalker 2 right now is one of my most anticipated game of 2022, no doubt about it. There's also Little Devil Inside, Dying Light 2, Hogwarts Legacy, and Atomic Heart. There's just so much to look forward next year, and I'm actually really hoping we don't have any delay from these games, because there has been so many this year. If you guys are still there at the end of this video, make sure you like it, and of course stay tuned later today and during the week because there's going to be a ton of new reveals from the Game Awards, so take a look at the channel. Alright guys, for more on Stalker 2, make sure you support this video and of course subscribe to stay tuned.